In last week's City Beat column, we looked at the weird places that make up Los Angeles. But as the city undergoes new construction, the old is often abandoned in favor of the new and shiny. This week, LA Times columnist Nita Lelyveld wrote about the big response she got to her love letter to Weird LA and why one place may not be closing its doors after all. Hey, Nita.
Hi, how are you?
I am guessing that everybody has their favorite weird place and they all came and talking to you.
Yeah, actually the conversation broadened out from weird places to just places we love in LA, old places, places that remind us of the past, places that evoke our history. It became just a big discussion on social media, and I got a lot of emails from people, also from people all over the country who said, you know, this thing about erasing our history and losing our character, it's happening everywhere.
You heard from people from Austin, Texas,
Portland,
Oregon.
Which surprised me. I didn't know about that, but then I looked on the internet and there were all these big condo projects going up everywhere, and you know.
What were some of the places that people wanted to share with you?
Well, we just had we sort of had a big free-flowing discussion on social media about it that sort of lasted all the way through the weekend, of people talking about the places they bring visitors. And there's a place, some little hole in the wall, places to eat came up. There's a place called Shoop's that I'm now dying to go to because people told me it was so delicious. And people talked about the things that they like to do, go to the Self-Realization Fellowship in Pacific Palisades, and you know, find their peace, or go up to the top of Mulholland and look out at the city lights, and all these things that
are unique
that
to
make
our
them feel
community.
LA.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. Now you were talking about one place, we're talking about food places because they really do. It's a sense memory as much as a mental memory, right? Victor Square.
Yeah, so one of the things that I'm going to talk about, I'm actually in this City Beat column this week, I'm talking about the response. And one of the things that I am saying is that we do bear some responsibility here, that we have to support the old places before they disappear. And there is a tendency to say, oh, I love this place so much, I've always loved it since childhood, and then stop going because there's something shiny and new around the corner. So then you suddenly hear that a place is closing, and people rush to it, and it's crowded in a way that it hasn't been for years, and it's too late.
Well, Broguieres is one of these success stories, though,
yes,
because we did a story on Spectrum News 1 in the morning show as well on this beloved dairy. Everybody knows them for their glass bottles with a picture of the cow, which, by the way, make a great vase if you're having a barbecue outside,
yes.
just saying. And they were going to shut down, and I guess people went nuts, and now they're not going to close.
Right, so the place that I had talked about before, Victor's, they you know, people flocked there at the very end, and it was too late, and you know, they weren't there to support it, and it had to close. Broguieres, they got such an outpouring of response from people all over the community, and people have been showing up in droves. I've heard that there have been, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls to this little dairy to say, please don't leave us, that they seem to have decided to just stay around for a little while longer and see if they can manage.
There's also all those boxy apartment buildings you talk about. You don't like them very much at all. But people are saying we need more affordable housing, and we need you know, to take some of these single-family homes and convert them into apartment buildings.
This is true, but I'm not necessarily talking about affordable housing. A lot of those places going up are not affordable housing. They're just developers trying to make a mint.
That's true.
And that's a different thing. And I think sometimes we give them too free a rein in the city on the theory that it's about affordable housing when it really has nothing to do with it.
Well, luckily there are a few developers. I know the people who bought the Formosa, they're restoring it and reopening it.
Absolutely. There are people who love our city who also are developing it.
It reminds me of that Eagles song called The Last Resort. Call someplace paradise, you have to kiss it goodbye, because, you know.
And that's one of the arguments. Actually, our Metro editor at the Times sent out a tweet saying, something like, you know, as soon as you learn this from high school, as soon as you're cool, kind of you're ruined, basically.
That's right, exactly right. Though I just have to say to finish, there was one historian who read your column, was thinking about it, and corresponded with you to say, you know, she was lamenting the loss of all the weird LA, and at that moment, what happened?
The naked bike ride rode by her. So suddenly she saw all these naked people on their bicycles, and she thought, you know what? Still weird.
Still weird?
Yeah.
And people can tweet to you, Nita?
They can tweet to me at LA Times City Beat, or they can email me at citybeat@latimes.com.
All right, thanks, Nita. Look for Nita's column online at latimes.com.